The Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund Program, GOJAFP, has been a successful partnership among the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the PIOJ, and several other key government agencies to protect livelihoods in rural and coastal communities which are most vulnerable to climate change. GOJAFP developed a comprehensive shoreline protection and ecosystems restoration plan for Oneonta Bay and Buff Bay and Orange Bay in the neighboring parish of Portland that included an agriculture resilience and food security component. Multiple interventions have been coordinated by a dynamic program management office based in the PIOJ under the governance oversight of a program steering committee of knowledge experts drawn from across the private and public sectors and academia.
One of the things I like very much about this project is that it is so multi-sectoral. So there have been interventions across a number of sectors. The other thing I like too is that it is very community focused, so that at the community level there will be many benefits going forward into the future. It also demonstrates that climate change adaptation can actually be carried out in very concrete ways, whether it's the water users group, which has a source of water which can be used for farming, whether it is the hazard-resistant fowl chicken coops, right, which will resist climate change, import substitution. There are several interventions which show that in very practical ways the country can adapt to climate change and that it is possible at the local level.
So from my perspective as the focal point for climate change in Jamaica, I see this project as quite successful. The hazards as it relates to, especially for the erosion that we're having on the coastal areas, is one of the very major issues for us. So having this project contribute to, securing some of those areas and improving the resilience in some of the most vulnerable communities is extremely a positive step in the right direction, and therefore a very good example set for others to follow, to replicate in other communities.
With the GOJAFP interventions successfully implemented on the ground in Oneonta Bay, Buff Bay, and Orange Bay, the inevitable question will arise: how will the gains made on the ground in these communities be sustained into the future?
So maintenance is important, and the fact that this is working, we need these interventions right around the island. All of our coastal areas are in trouble, some more than others, and we can't, of course, replicate what's done here. Everything has to be place specific, but we need to have these adaptation interventions going forward, and so therefore this area has to be maintained to ensure that it is sustained.
We have seen as a result of our intervention that many of the farmers groups that we have established, even 3 years after the project, that component has closed, we have recognized that these farmers are still in operation, so there is an element of sustainability.
To trigger change and transformation on the ground in these vulnerable communities, made up of resilient, hard-working people who are adapting and prevailing in the face of the negative impacts of climate change.
This project has been funded by the Adaptation Fund and to the tune of almost $10 million US. And we really want to extend our appreciation to them because they have allowed us to make some changes in our country that we think, once they can be sustained, will be in fact transformational.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica applauds the Adaptation Fund for over a decade of valued, meaningful funding and support of Jamaica's resilience and adaptation to the challenges of a changing climate.
The Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund Program, building capacity for climate change adaptation and resilience, securing Jamaica's vital northeastern coastal corridor, breaking the tide, renewing the land.